Good evening, class. It's Dr. Foy, and I thought I would spend just a few minutes every Monday trying to recap where we are and what's going on and how I can further support you all since we're not meeting online face to face. So I've made some notes. I'll be looking to my right a lot, but just wanted to kind of give you a quick update. I hope everyone's doing well. I hope you guys are hanging in there. I wanted to let you guys know that I will be grading both week one's activities and or not an assignment, should I say, week one's assignment and quiz number 1. I do want to let you know too that the way that I set the quiz up, if I put in an answer a certain way and you didn't answer it exactly, it would mark it wrong. So don't worry. For example, say one of the answers is the method is of knowing is intuition, and you might have put gut feeling / intuition. It's going to mark it wrong. Not to worry. When I grade these, I will take all that into account. As long as you come close and you answer the question, I'm going to give you credit for it. And so I will be doing the grading on both of those probably this weekend. I have a funeral to go to tomorrow, so I won't get to it tomorrow. And then Wednesday I teach at another class. I've got a lot going right now, but I will get to it. I say it usually takes me about a week after the assignment's turned in. So hopefully you'll see your grade posted on both of those soon. All right. I also wanted to go over kind of the syllabus. Again, there's 4 areas that you're going to be graded on. It's class participation, which is going to be heavy on the percentage, 55% of your grade. And then we have your individual research paper, which is 25%. We have quizzes that are going to be 15%. And then we have the research presentation, which is 5%. And that's how you'll earn the 100%. Okay? And as I scroll down, I want to also talk about your first assignment. So that was on chapter 1.1 in the book, right? Methods of knowing. And one of the main things we wanted you to get out of that chapter is that there's 5 methods of acquiring knowledge, right? When it comes to research. And they are, and you guys should know this by now, right? Intuition, authority, rationalism, empiricism, and the scientific method. And sorry, I have kind of a lisp now. I have Invisaligns, and I talk so funny now and I don't have them in now, but I still talk funny. So I apologize for that. But they're, for the most part, each of them has their drawbacks, even the scientific method, because of what? The resources and time involved in it, right, is one of the reasons. And they also have benefits. So we talked about that, and now we're kind of progressing. We're progressing into this week's readings, which are chapters 1.2, Understanding Science, and 1.4, Science and Common Sense. So in chapter 1.2, we look at what science is, and one thing that all the different fields of science, including psychology, because it is a science, have in common is what? That they basically use a general understanding or approach to understanding one aspect of the natural world, right? And so keep that in mind. It's really important. That's one thing they all have in common. There are 3 fundamental features of science, and they include systematic empiricism, empirical questions, and public knowledge. And you're going to be reading about that this week. And you know what systematic empiricism is, pretty much. We've talked about that already. Empirical question, these are questions about the way the world actually is, and therefore can be answered by systematically observing it, right? And public knowledge is important because now I've done my research, I have my findings, and now I'm going to publish my work. Because what's the point in doing research if you don't share it with the public so that it can make society better? It can improve society by your findings, or it can contribute to the science in that field. So you're adding to the science. You might take, your project a whole nother different direction that no one ever thought about, or you might take something that's already been done and expand on it, creating a whole new method of doing something, or some type of tool that can be used in the human services field, or something that helps cure people who suffer from depression. I mean, it could be a wide range of things that you decide. You guys are going to have different topics, so it's exciting. The other thing about publications is that in researchers' publications, they include their research question in the context of previous research. They describe in detail the methods they use to answer their questions and clearly present their results and conclusions. And although you won't be publishing your paper, at least not for this class, but I do encourage you guys to always think about ways that you can publish. It's a great thing. It gets you out there. It kind of sounds scary, but you can actually publish your paper in a peer-reviewed journal if you really want to get involved in research and really get into it. It's really fun, actually. So a publication also has essential features, is an essential feature of science for two reasons. I'm sorry, it's late and I'm tired. Science is a social process, and so a large-scale collaboration amongst many researchers distributed across our country or even internationally will help contribute to the knowledge, like I kind of said already, right? So you're writing something, somebody over here is writing something on the same topic. You got people contributing to that science, that field of knowledge, which is very important. Okay. And number two, it allows science to be self-correcting. So when you publish your work, other experts in the field will read your publication and they'll either say, that's not quite right. And that's kind of how we self-correct. We help each other. We give feedback. Because when you have a journal that's peer-reviewed, it's usually reviewed by 2 or 3 of your peers in the field that are experts. And the journal editor will ask them to review your work, your science, and give feedback. And so it gives you an opportunity to make adjustments to your publication before you even publish it. And then even after it's published, you'll have people coming back saying, but when I did this research, I found this or whatever. Or somebody might come back and say, this is really, really great. We hadn't even thought about that approach. So you'll be adding to the scientific knowledge, okay? Let me keep going. I'm going to pass it. So, when you're conducting research, it's very important that you know the difference between pseudoscience, or they call it folklore science, and science. And pseudoscience refers to activities and beliefs that are claimed to be scientific, but by the people who believe that they are, and may appear to be scientific, but at first glance, but they're not. Okay, so you want to make sure you stay clear of that kind of stuff. So the philosopher Karl Popper, he argued that scientific claims must be falsifiable, and that's very important. So as we read 1.4, the science and common sense, we kind of think that we can use our common sense when we're doing science, but that's not always the case. We cannot always rely on our common sense when we're conducting research. This is due to a lot of factors that we can't control. For example, if a belief is widely shared, especially if it is endorsed by, say, experts, and it makes intuitive sense, then we tend to assume it's true. Then we have to add the fact that we tend to focus on the causes that confirm our intuitive beliefs. We always look for the things that confirm what we believe, right? And not the causes that disconfirm that. And this is called what? You're reading about it right now, I'm sure, this week, if you haven't already read it. It's called confirmation bias. So we have these biases. Additionally, scientists realize that they are just as susceptible as anyone else to intuitive but incorrect beliefs, and this is why they cultivate something that we call an attitude of skepticism. It's not how we use skepticism in other terms. It basically refers to pausing for a moment to consider alternatives and to search for evidence, especially systematically collected empirical evidence. So remember, when you are conducting your research, you always want to pause and ask yourself a variety of questions. And you may have to even do a literature review. More often than not, you do, as well as ensure that there is evidence to support the claim. And with the literature review, you're looking to see who else has done research on your topic, and also to give credit to their work. You're not going to go on and say, oh, I'm doing this research project not knowing what's already been done, because one, you look kind of silly when you publish your work and you haven't given credit to other people who've already paved the way and done some things prior to you doing it. As the book further states, there is often enough evidence to fully evaluate. It's often not enough evidence to fully evaluate a belief or a claim. So scientists also cultivate a tolerance for uncertainty, and they basically accept that there are many things that they simply do not know, right? We don't know everything. Thus, this can be an exciting opportunity for you as well, because as a researcher, you may be able to provide an answer to an important issue, especially in the field of human services. So know that, hey, your research is not just for you, it's to inform society and make society better. So as we move into this week's assignment, it's a relatively simple assignment this week for you. There's no discussion board posting or anything as far as video. You're just going to answer some questions, and that's it. And I did that because I want you to start focusing on next week, which is week 3, and that's generating your research question. I personally believe that this is the most difficult part of the process, or one of them, and that's generating your research question. So to help make things a little easier, I'm going to attach a handout onto I'll probably put it under either this week's announcements or under files. So we'll see. Probably under this week announcement. Look under from the announcements, and it's gonna have kind of give you it's a handout to help you kind of think about your question. So I want you to use that handout, and at the very bottom, if you scroll down, you'll see a spot for you to kind of practice on generating your question and how you can create strong questions. Okay. Please reach out to me if you have any questions or concerns. I'm always here. I'm here to guide. I'm here to provide you with resources and also encourage you when you become frustrated. Okay. So I hope you'll be well, and I look forward to speaking with you soon. You guys keep up the good work. All right. Bye-bye.